And here with me now, Scott Bolden, NewsNation political contributor, Julia Manchester, national political reporter for The Hill, Chris Stirewalt, host of The Hill, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and T.W. Reedy, former communications aide to Senator Lindsey Graham. Hello to you all. Happy Friday. Thanks for being in. Start with you. Scott, you're on the board of Morehouse.
Yep. Absolutely.
There's basically two arguments there from former President Obama. One, push back if you see fit. Two, go into the endowments if you want to push back.
Well, you got to push back, and maybe you pay your college professors who administer those grants, but you also got to push back on the administration regarding whether this is a legally enforceable order that they're operating under, whereby they're pulling and suspending grants because of your DEI program. DEI has become a bad word under this president, and there's nothing illegal, inappropriate, or unethical about having a DEI program. There's no policy anywhere written that says if you got a DEI program, then you're hiring people that are less qualified. You'll never find that anywhere, and so the courts will stand behind these colleges and universities in regard to these grants if they file the complaint against this administration. And it's a fight, it's expensive, but it's worth pushing back.
I think the courts will stand behind them because today the court ruled in favor of the Trump administration on education funding related to DEI.
Well, that's separate and apart. But here, the courts have said that you can't have a DEI program for admissions, but you can't be a bully on these research grants simply because you don't like what the policies are or how the policies have been implemented. They can negotiate, and you can correct those policies, but I don't think they have a legal standing to compel performance under these grants and suspending the grants.
I don't think the American people are crying too much for a university like Harvard, who has an endowment the size of the country of Jordan's GDP. They're not really batting an eyelash about that. Look, trust in our most prestigious academic institutions has been going downhill at express train for the last 20 years. President Obama talked about this, the eroding of free speech. You saw how they handled the COVID virus in their response with lockdowns. A lot of people started applying to schools in the South because they felt like they could be real students. And then you see on the campus of Harvard people saying, globalize the Intifada, and harassing Jewish students, and no arrests were made. They were shutting down the operations of Columbia, school that people paid good money to go to, and they couldn't go to their classes because people were supporting implicitly an organization that's a terrorist organization. I don't think people are very happy then to hear that the government is sending trillions of dollars to them over time. I think they think if you have that much money in your endowment, you can pay.
I don't know if it's trillions, but it's a lot.
Well, over time, it is trillions, yeah.
Yeah, but they're pro-Palestinian and pro-Jewish groups who are part of those protests. I don't think you should say they're all pro-Hamas. There was a mix of that, if you will, and there's an answer for that. But you can't cut their First Amendment right and start taking money because you don't like how their students protest.
I'm not cutting anybody's First Amendment right. Okay. I think globalizing the Intifada, chanting that around campus, harassing Jewish students from the river to the sea is incredibly detrimental. Arrests should have been made at the time quicker.
We certainly don't disagree.
I think the federal government does. If this was any other hate group doing anything else to another minority of students, it would be acted upon swiftly. They didn't do it in this situation. Trump's act.
The majority of those protests were not what you just described.
This is the first time, I believe, we've heard from President Obama publicly. And it came after, remember when he sort of chummed it up with President Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral? What do you make of President Obama coming out and this sort of being his, okay, here's what I have to say?
Well, I think there was a lot of pushback to President Obama and a lot of Democrats for, quote unquote, normalizing Trump in the first month or so of his administration. Now you're really trying to see Democrats really trying to find their voice, trying to unify behind one message. Not only had President Obama this week making these remarks, but you had Vice President Kamala Harris, or former Vice President Kamala Harris, really being critical of Trump. You had Cory Booker doing that, 24-hour-long speech, 25 hours. On the Senate floor. So, I mean, this is just all, I think, goes to, show that they're trying to find their voice, trying to unify around a message.
For 60 years, conservatives complained about left-wing social engineering and how the government used institutions and money to push down a viewpoint that was popular with Democrats and popular on the left, and that's how it was. Now, they said they didn't want that. And for a long time, they were consistent. Now what they're saying is something different. Actually, we're going to do social engineering from the right wing. We're going to police speech. We're going to deport people who say and do things that we don't like. So it really is turnabout. The Trump position here is turnabout's fair play. You did it to us before. Right. Now we're doing it to you. And this is the tit for tat battle. What Barack Obama is basically saying is, wait your turn. And then when Donald Trump is out of office and the Republicans lose, we'll be back in position to start cramming down social engineering again. And here's what I know. Right. Ain't none of it popular, ain't none of it good.
Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.